This is the Real Change Wilmington Podcast, episode 47, Clinton County Free School Supply Drive, with our guest today, Jason Stoops and Lee Sandlin.
We live in a culture that's so busy and self-centered, things that you could be home with your feet up watching a movie, you could be out with your family, but you choose to give up your time to help children, and I think that's a beautiful thing that happens.
What is going on, everyone? This is your host of the Real Change Wilmington Podcast, Dustin Pierce, joined with my co-host, Tiara Harris. Real Change is a positive, constructive, and lighthearted source of local news, events, and resources. And on our podcast, we interview leaders of local organizations to help squash rumors and encourage a greater sense of pride in our community. We have a great episode today. We don't mention it in the podcast artwork or episode number, but we also have Leah Lorenz joining us, who is Jason Stoops' fiance. We weren't sure if she was going to talk during the interview, so we didn't give her a proper introduction, but sometime soon we'll give her a proper intro, her backstory and stuff. But before we jump into things, Tiara, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. We just released our August edition, so go ahead and check that out at Kroger, Fiesta Veracruz. And if you're half of Wilmington residents, you probably got it at your doorstep.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I am doing good. I recently went creeking with my family, my sisters, and my sister's boyfriend, and it was a good time. So creeking, for those who don't know, is just you walk in a creek. We caught crawdad and...
You found some fossils as well.
Fossils, tadpoles and stuff, and tiny frogs that fit on the tip of my finger.
Jealous.
Yeah.
So jealous.
It was a good time. What was your favorite part of talking to Stoops and Sandlin about the school drive?
I think just seeing community come together is always something that's beautiful. One of the reasons for the podcast is to address stigmas or rumors. I didn't really have any context before, but I know that people have had their opinions about the relationship of the two. So just seeing them come together to do something good in the community was great.
Yeah, I think what stood out to me is I had assumed, just based on like things that I've seen, that Stoops and Sandlin are these like mortal enemies, but I was corrected in the podcast. That's kind of where Leah jumped in and corrected me that apparently Lee Sandlin was involved with the school supply drive from the very beginning. So
yeah,
didn't know that.
And now they work together as well. So
yeah, I think Stoops and Leah volunteer at Sugar Tree Ministries, which is cool.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's bring them in and hear about the school supply drive. Lee Sandlin and Jason Stoops, welcome to the Real Change Wilmington Podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, so you guys have been on the podcast before, but we're talking about the Clinton County Free School Supply Drive today. So before we get into things, we're just going to get to know you guys a bit more. We'll start with Jason. Do you want to tell us where you're from, your journey, and what you do for a living right now? Maybe some of your hobbies and things like that.
Jason Stoops, born and raised Wilmington, class of 93, auto mechanic my whole life, semi-retiring, engaged to Leah Lorenz, just a local pain in the ass.
Yeah, sums it up pretty good.
Lee Sandlin, born and raised Lebanon, Ohio, graduated 95. For a long time, my main course of work was personal training, strength training, but I've always done youth ministry, outreach missions, street missions, so since I was 18 years old, I started. So I've been at Sugar Tree Ministries for 7 years as director, but volunteering for 22 years now.
What's your max bench?
501 is the best I've ever done.
Wow.
Competition.
501. That's awesome. What's a defining moment of your life, Jason, that helps define or shape your personality?
By my criminal mishaps have steered my life heavily.
In a good way or bad way?
Yes.
Both?
Yes.
Okay.
Knocked the ship around, we'll put it that way.
Okay. Set you straight?
Yeah, straight and back around. Yeah, it cycles around. It's been interesting.
Okay.
They test you.
What about you?
Grew up rural, poverty, divorced parents, addiction in the family. And so when I was 18 years old, played sports, graduated high school, had a little bit of everybody makes that big decision when you're 18, decided that I'd go to church with a friend, gave my life to Jesus, and decided to, serve people and serve the community ever since. And so that's been the hallmark of my life, is deciding to lay down my life for Jesus and then to love others as myself.
When did the school supply drive first come about? What year was it?
I think it was 19 or 20. It was pre-COVID, and we was actually Leah, myself, Jared Holmes, and Melissa. I can't remember Melissa's last name. Stevens were over at the pub just having some beers. Democratic Party had posted something on Facebook about a little school supply drive, like these 2 carts, and we quadrupled the donations sitting right there at the bar drinking. You say, here we are a few years later.
Okay. So before COVID. Interesting.
Yes.
So how did you distribute the supplies the first year?
We just buy basic supplies into a bag by grade.
Mm-hmm.
Clinton County residents only. First come, first serve.
Where did you have it at?
Zidus Park. And that was during COVID because that was a little bit of a hassle in itself.
How many kids did you have come out for that?
I think 300-ish. We didn't really count. We just banged bags out. The numbers didn't matter. We just filled bags and we handed out till everything was gone.
So how many events have you had so far? What have you learned each time?
I think we've had 4. I've learned not to drink at the events, so that helps. Last year, we moved it to the church. That set the atmosphere a little better. It was funner. And I don't know, you just learn the logistics. You learn as you go. You got to work with donors. Your donors change. You change locations. And this other events do school supplies. So it depends on who's doing what. So it's a very fluid thing you just kind of go with and see how it happens.
So one of the things that you guys are pretty passionate about, because I helped last year, is that it's Clinton County residents only.
Yes.
And I believe that you have to have the student there with you. Is that
yes.
true?
Yes, we want to see the kid.
Okay.
But the kid has to pick out their backpack. The kid has to be involved. They have to have a little fun with it.
That's good. What was the reasoning for like making it Clinton County residents only, making kids be there?
Well, you got to draw the line somewhere for one thing. 2, just keep it in county. It keeps it local. Everybody supports local. And you want the kid there. You don't want somebody showing up saying, I need 10 book bags for my grandchildren, and they go get sold on the street for whatever or just misused. So you make sure that the supplies go to the kids and the supplies stay within Clinton County.
Yeah.
When we were done, whatever's left, it was...
We kept them with the ministry, and there were people that came in and got supplies at the ministry after that.
Yes.
My first year being a part of it was last year. I was at Dub Church. And that was when, Lee, you got involved. You invited your contacts. You had the Dub Church. You had Amazon there.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool. They were giving out food. I thought it was really cool because I know that you guys have some like tension in the past, and to see you guys like work together and Jason like let Lee participate in this thing and Lee like take it to another level was really cool for me. So I was not only seeing like families and kids get served, but see like you guys work together was like, I was in the parking lot just like crying my eyes out.
Yeah.
So how the heck did that happen?
Lee has always been involved. The very first year we did it, Lee did donate all the backpacks, basically. He ordered a bunch of backpacks, and every year he would make sure that they were there for us. He would stay in contact with us. So even though there were tension, we never hated Lee. I don't believe that Lee could ever hate anybody, so he didn't hate us either. But we knew that we were going to have to work together to make things. And that's also why we're helping out at the ministry. We have to work together to make things better. So it's never been animosity, I don't think, between the two of them, and also with myself. I think people think that just because they didn't totally agree with each other, that they just hated each other. But Lee's always been involved.
You can disagree with your friends.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
An anecdote to the idea is that when we would have meetings about the homeless situation, we would always sit and talk afterwards. And I would say, I appreciated their passion. We had some different approaches, different styles, but the reality is they are as passionate as I am, even though we don't always agree on how to do things. But I think everybody wanted what was best for the kids involved and for the people in the community. So I think we've always agreed that we want what's best, but we had some different styles and different approaches.
But it's always been about the kids. We've all come from poverty.
Yeah.
So I think all 3 of us agree that kids have to be taken care
Absolutely.
of.
The parents make decisions. Kids are subjected to their parents' decisions. So we want to help them regardless because kids didn't do anything
You take a little load off the parents by giving them some school supplies. I give the parents a little bit of extra money. They can do something.
Yeah.
It's going to be simple, take kids out to dinner, but that gives parents just a little bit of breathing room. So it works its way up.
Yep.
Yeah. I bought some supplies last year and I was like, these supplies are expensive. I can't imagine like a family that has to like provide for their kid every day of the year plus buy school supplies.
Yeah, you're just living week to week anyways. And school's coming up and here you go. Here you got $1,000 to put your kid in a public school. So
last year when it was at Dub Church, were you more involved last year, Lee, with bringing people involved? But it seemed like before maybe it was at Zidus Park. But then last year was at Dub Church, which I'm sure was your connection.
Yes.
And then Amazon came and I think the Literacy Foundation was maybe there too. Yeah,
and we had some a friend of mine that used to go to church with does the face painting and balloons and things like that. Yeah, so we got connected. We made it more of a bigger event, but Jason and Leah always got the stuff done. Every year they got it done. We just added some space to it. Yeah,
organized a little better.
Yeah,
having his extra help was amazing,
and a parking lot dedicated to it.
Oh man,
yeah.
So over the past few years that you guys done this, what have been some of your most fond memories or proudest moments?
My favorite is just watching the kids pick out their backpacks. You have these little kids who come in that the backpacks are bigger than them. They put the backpacks on and they walk off with it. And that's just like, that's why we have the kids come. Like, I don't care if you're, 17 years old and you want to pick your backpack out, but these little ones that come out and they're just so excited. They're so excited to see crowns. They're so excited to see markers. They put these little backpacks on and again, they're dragging on the ground, walking away from you. And it's the best thing ever. That's my favorite part of it.
Yeah.
I think seeing it all gone at the end. You spend all this time hustling this stuff up. You see all the supplies are busy, don't get to enjoy it. Then when it's done, you finally get to breathe. There's just all this emptiness that was school supply. That's nice.
Lee, what about you?
For me, it's the community gather. I've always said this, whenever you see people working for a common cause to help children, something we all agree on, I think it's great seeing that many people, because every time at the ministry, I give a little speech all the time, and I'm sure it gets boring. But the idea is people could be anywhere doing anything. We live in a culture that's so busy and self-centered, things that you could be home with your feet up watching a movie, you could be out with your family, but you choose to give up your time to help children. And I think that's a beautiful thing that happens.
Yeah. So what can we expect this year? Where is the event going to be? Is there any new things happening?
We're going to be at Dove again, Amazon serving food. We'll have the face painters back out, balloons, everything like that. So similar event to last year, but this year we decided that the night before at the Murphy, thank God for the Murphy, shout out, we love the Murphy. So the night before, parents can have just a night off with their kids, into summer, and they don't have to worry about buying dinner, don't worry about, entertaining their kids. We're going to have free event at the Murphy, free to everybody, night before school supplies.
Who's doing dinner?
The hot dogs are free. The hot dogs will be donated. The only thing they got to worry about is the beverage, and Charlie's will be open inside the Murphy so they can get for snacks. Yep, for snacks. I think.
I am working on possibly getting a food truck, but they're kind of caught up. So we're definitely going to have hamburgers and hot dogs, but we may be making them and maybe somebody else, but there will be food.
Okay, cool.
But we're excited about that because, we'd love to see everybody come out. And then also maybe families that don't know about school supplies the next day, we'll also hand out information that, hey, by the way, tomorrow.
It'll be our last pickup right there. If any supplies be dropped.
You dropped off, yeah.
Last time be at that Murphy event.
They're going to put on the marquee that's happening.
Yeah.
That's on them.
Nice. So how many kids do you hope to serve this year? You had a goal last year. What was your goal last year? Did you meet that?
Yeah, no, we didn't meet it.
It was very ambitious, though.
No, it was a good goal, 1,000.
Yeah.
That's a good goal. Last year we hit 500 again, so if we can hit 500, actually the goal should be 0, to be honest. No kid should need supplies, but as long as we just do the maximum amount of kids, so we went 300, 500. I think 500 seems to be like the average number, so.
And the good news about being connected to the ministry with this is that we also made a vow that anybody that needed something after that, we could still help them. I don't always like the one and done. People work, they have different situations. We don't like excuses or people not making what they can. But the reality is if somebody missed something, we would be able to then pick
that's
up.
why the supplies go back to the ministry.
But if somebody needs it, even that day, we end up buying some extra stuff that day. People need it. So the idea is we'll fill in the gaps where it's needed.
So to that, if there are families who could use supplies, might be embarrassed to come out to an event like that, how would you encourage them to?
They could call the ministry.
Okay.
We take care of them. I hope it's going to be a fun day, a great day for the kids. But at the same time, if that's the reason.
Call the ministry or hit up the Facebook page, message the Facebook page.
Okay.
And we can chat that way.
Yep.
We've discussed it with other people before. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're willing to work with people who don't want to come out that day.
Yes.
Nice. That's good. How can people buy supplies, donate money, or volunteer their time?
Supplies, actually got an Amazon Prime Day coming up. I don't know if you guys will beat this or not. It'll probably be another one. The easiest way they can get supplies that's convenient for them. You can drop them off at the Midnight Auto, Sugar Tree Ministry, the News Journal. I'm going to go ahead and call the Murphy out and let them say they're a drop point. They just don't know yet. Congrats, Steve. And if any other businesses want to be a drop point, just reach out. We're also worked with the Visitors Bureau on their Teachers Rock campaign. So we're promoting it that way and go with their handout for the teachers. So yeah, if any businesses want to be part of, just reach out and not reach out to me. And if we need to, we'll come pick up the supplies.
And we can also put together an Amazon wish list. We did that last year. So I'll probably start working on that.
And they drop ship.
Yeah, the Clinton County School Supplies Facebook page. We can put that on there and make sure that everybody's sharing it and everything so that they know what items we need. There are some items we don't ask for, but people still drop off and we'll still put those in bags if they need to. Like construction paper, we don't really ask for that, but we will make sure that teachers get it. We can put it with the teachers' stuff that's going on with the CBD.
And until the end, like probably a couple weeks before the end of the event into August, we preferred supply donations, not monetary donations. It's easier for us just to have the supplies than to have to make a dedicated run to get supplies.
Okay.
But we do like to have a little bit of cash on hand towards the end of the event to fill in the voids. So
people want to give cash, write a check to Sugar Tree Ministries, then like
Itemize it.
too.
Yep. That'd be it.
Very cool. So this is a normal podcast episode, but we always like to end things with my favorite question is what's a quote or piece of wisdom that's helped guide your life that you like to share with other people?
all things come full circle.
Okay. Do you have like a example of that?
Many. That'd be a podcast in itself, probably. I live by that motto, and I see that motto quite. You reap what you sow, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a good one. Well, you're not an official guest on the
I
podcast, but you have to share it since I'm talking.
My favorite one recently is let go and let God. Like I have to let go of a lot and just hope that it's going to happen. Something good's going to happen. That's my favorite quote right now.
I'm going to put you on the spot, give an example of letting go and something good happening.
We had kind of gotten to the point where we were, thinking about shutting shop up and leaving out of town. And we actually started helping out with the ministry, and things have kind of gotten better, honestly. We've been more busy, but it's helped out. We've helped other people. I've seen good things come out of the ministry, which I thought weren't necessarily happening. So I kind of think that God just kind of pushed me. And I'm not a super religious person, so that it's come to my attention recently that he's pushing me to do something, and I'm just not sure what it is. But I'm going to let go and let God.
I'm glad you guys stuck around. It was a surprise when you volunteered to see you guys there help as well. Crazy times.
Yep. Probably the last place you thought you'd see us, but we've been there for
a few months.
3 months. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Seen a lot of progress.
We're better together.
Yes.
For certain.
Lee, quote or piece of wisdom.
The Bible says, train up a child where they should go, and they're old, they won't depart from it. But then Frederick Douglass said, it's better to discipline children than fix broke men. And so the idea is, I think what we're dealing with is the better we treat children, the more we supply them, the more better opportunity we give them, the less likely people in a ministry like ours will see them in the future. You know what I'm saying? So the idea is I think we're being very productive by doing this, because the more kindness, compassion, the more help they see when they're younger, and the more helpers they see, the more neighbors they see, the more people get involved in their life. It takes a village to raise a child, that likelihood they'll have a better outcome.
And lead by example.
Yep. So I think children seeing that community is vital. And when, I think the idea is all of us working together and them seeing that will make sure that they don't end up needing our help later. We're still there to help them later in life, but maybe we'll get a few of them to be more productive in the community and less likely to end up with us.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts before we wrap up?
We're better together. And so the idea is that as a community, if we would all, take time and stop the rhetoric, stop the vitriol, stop the hate, and just focus on doing something good and something selfless and something meaningful, I think we can make the place better. And then the reality is I think we all need to recognize that it was great, and it always has been great. And I think the idea is more people, when they get involved, realize how great it is instead of just listening to, the social media and things like that. The idea is if they get out and they meet their neighbor, they love each other, they work together, I think they're going to find out this place was always amazing, and it was never what they characterized it to be.
Yes, that's definitely fair. Like I say, if you get somebody out there, if you're out there watching and you see the Facebook post, you click, reach out to me personally if you want a very honest answer. And I will give you an inside answer, and I will give you a very fair, and I will even, and Lee knows, I will explain to him the answer.
Yep.
So there's no secrets that I know of.
None. Yep.
Awesome. People want to connect with you guys to learn more about the School Supply Drive or Sugar Tree Ministries. How would they best do that?
Facebook Messenger, if you got the shop phone. For me, text the shop phone.
SugarTreeMinistry.com.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys, for doing the podcast. I really appreciate it. Hope the event's successful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that's it for our podcast today, folks. Hope you enjoyed our interview with Jason Stoops and Lee Sandlin with the Clinton County Free School Supplies Drive. If you have any more questions or ideas for them, feel free to reach out directly. If they will talk to us two dorks, they will certainly talk to you as well, because after all, we are a community of empowered individuals. Tiara, if people want to get in touch with Real Change Wilmington, how would they do so?
You can contact us on our website at realchangewilmington.com, visit our Facebook and Instagram pages, or grab a free copy of our local newspaper at Kroger, Sam's Meats, and Fiesta Veracruz. We also currently send our paper direct mail to over 2,500 Wilmington residents, so if you want to help us cover our printing costs and advertise your local business, event, or job posting, please email us at advertise@realchangewilmington.com.
Very cool. With that, I'm your host, Dustin Pierce.
And I'm your co-host, Tiara Harris.
Keep it real, Wilmington.